Hello, hello, change makers, and welcome back for another amazing interview with one of our Florida change makers who's just down the road from me. And I've been so blessed and honored to get to know her. So today it's all about Miss Sandra Adler. And this lady is a nonstop energizer bunny. And Sandra, tell people who you are, what you do, and what makes you so amazing.
Wow. Well, I just want to say first, it takes one to know one. Like
Thank you.
attracts like. I'm Sandra Adler. I'm a retired school teacher, retired school counselor. I'm a spiritual consultant, and I've done that for 49 years. I'm also an Amazon best-selling author of spiritual children's books, and because that's my passion in life is to get the spiritual message out to our leaders of tomorrow so that they can make our world a better place of love and caring and sharing and understanding and working together and loving each other and helping each other and being the kind of world that I would love to live in. And so that's how I've become a change maker.
Wow. Wow. Well, and anybody who knows you just sees you all the time as this brilliant, vibrant light that you are just oozing with love and giving and helping people. But I'm pretty sure that it wasn't always that way. Is there something you're willing to share with people about your story?
Oh, I don't know how much grief do they want to hear about.
Well, you don't have to go into the nitty-gritty details, but, like, why are the children's books especially so important to you?
Well, because as a child, I didn't know all this spiritual information. So I just tried to do what my mother and father said and the teacher said to do, and it didn't work for me.
Mm,
So I was suicidal as a young
mm,
person. And because I didn't know why I was here, I didn't know my life purpose, I didn't know the reason for things, I didn't know why everything I tried to do was pooed and put down and laughed at. And I didn't know why I was such a failure. And I just hated myself and just wanted, I figured if I died, the whole world would be a better place because
ooh,
everything was my fault. And
oh,
so it was a rough start, but I am grateful for it because if I hadn't had all those troubles as a young person, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. Because what I'm doing today is trying to change things so that other children don't have to go through that. I mean,
mm,
I know everybody has to go through something so that they can find their life purpose because that's what life is all about. But
right.
if I had the facts about who I was, I'm a soul in a physical body. Well, nobody ever told me that before. And to tell me that I had a life purpose and I have a unique life purpose, and nobody else has the same life purpose that I have. And if I don't do it, it just doesn't get done. Well, nobody told me I was that important because I sure wouldn't want to kill myself if I'm that important. And then nobody told me that I had angels helping me. And I never believed in angels. Even when they told me that I had angels, I said, yeah, right. If I had angels, I wouldn't have gone through all this. So I do
Well,
believe in spiritual helpers or guides, angels, extraterrestrials, whatever we want to call them.
there you
We
go.
everybody has spiritual help, and our spiritual helpers, some people call them messengers of God, they are just souls without physical bodies that have mastered their life when they were here on planet Earth. so they can help those of us who are still working on that. So they
Wow.
are masters. So there's no way that we can't complete our life purpose because we have all the spiritual help that we need. Everything that's happening on planet Earth is happening for me. All I have to do is figure it out and to believe that everything happens for a reason. There's nothing bad that happens to me. There's nothing good that happens to me. Everything just happens, and I have to figure out what is it that I can learn from that situation because
Yes.
everything is for me, and the angels are organizing all that on the other side so that I can be successful. So once I learned all this spiritual information and especially learned to communicate with my spiritual helpers and ask them questions and get answers, all of a sudden I felt pretty damn smart. And so I now ask questions constantly. Is it in my best interest to be on this interview with Cheyenne Kramer? They said yes. So I am here. I make a decision and then I check it with them. If they
Gotcha.
say it's in my best interest, I do it. If they say it's not in my best interest, well, I might ask a few more questions and say, like, why not? And whatever. But I've learned over the years, I'm 84 now, so I've learned through experience that arguing with my angels is not in my best interest.
Nope. Resistance is futile.
It sure is. And that's what I learned how to do because when I would want to do something or say something as a young person, I was told to shut up and don't, only speak if you're spoken to, and don't talk about that weird stuff. People are going to think you're crazy, and it's going to show on our family that we've got crazy people in it. I
Mm,
mean, and so now I can't quit talking because they wouldn't let me say all this stuff. Because as a young kid, I was psychic, and every young child is psychic. And they tell
um,
parents things, and parents say, "Oh, what a great imagination that child has." Well,
mm,
it's not an imagination, it's what they are actually experiencing, seeing, hearing, feeling. And
wow.
as a school teacher working with young children, I learned that these children know everything. If you listen to them and they start telling you, when I used to be a grown up, I did. And I said, "Oh, tell me more." "Oh, yes. And then what happened?" And and they will, if they think that you believe them, they will tell you everything. And they
Wow.
all know their life purpose. They know why they're here. They know everything. And children, like they say, let the little children lead us, or whatever that saying is. um, they are so wise. So when I wrote these books, I've written 12 of them, and it's called Me and My Universe, a spiritual encyclopedia for children. And included in all those books is every concept that I could think of that would help people understand what spiritual means. It's nothing to do with religion. It's just about, being a soul, having a life purpose, having spiritual help. Just the same thing that I guess all religions probably talk about, but
Yeah.
it's a bigger picture. It's loving everyone, not having any division. And
Yeah.
that was mainly the reason I wrote the first book, which is called Saturdays at Kieran's, Meeting the Edifiers, because Kieran was a girl from India who came to the United States and was picked on because of her color and her accent. And she, at school, said to the children who had just been told by the teacher that they had to write a poem about themselves, that if they didn't know how to write the poem, they could come to her house on Saturday and she would help them with their poetry. And
Mm.
so all these children showed up. There were two African American, two Latin American, two Asian American, uh, a Native American, a Jewish kid, a bully, and an LGBTQ kid. So I try to get a little bit of everything in there. And so they show up at her house, and she learns about them. They learn about her. She helps them with their poetry. And then every Saturday they want to come back and learn about each other and not judge each other, but learn about the differences and enjoy the differences and look forward to more differences, and learn and share about themselves, and just like being a huge melting pot that America is supposed to be and is.
And
And it solves all the problems in the book that the kids are experiencing, like thinking about suicide or being bullied or having racial or cultural inequalities or have low self-esteem. All of these issues are addressed in the book, and the purpose of it was to help kids who are struggling through all of these issues, and to help their parents so the parents know what to say to them when they have these problems, and help grandparents who want to help their grandchildren,
mm,
because I've been there, done that myself. I've worked with kids for 30 years in the school system, and so I have all this wisdom or information that I want to pass on, so when I die, all of this information is going to be out there in the book. And all my
wow.
books can be found on Amazon.com, and they're all bestsellers. And I'm so happy that I'm getting the message out. That's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about getting the truth out to the world.
Love it.
And because these kids are going to be the leaders of tomorrow, let's, and they already know this stuff. That's what
Mhm,
they already
mm.
know it. And so it's mostly for their parents and grandparents.
Yeah, so they don't shut it all down, right?
Exactly, like I had to do.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, I would love to step back just for a minute though, because, you said something I think is very important because in our group here and on my YouTube channel, there's quite a variety of people. And, you know, you didn't always believe in angels or messengers or guides or whatever it is that people would want to call all of this. So was there a defining moment, a defining event in your life that changed all that for you?
Well, there were a number of things. First of all, I was an atheist because I didn't believe in God, because my father was an atheist, and I loved him. And I realized that an atheist is a person who believes that they are the creator of their own lives. They're the ones that make all the decisions about what they're going to do. There's nobody else telling them what to do. And they don't want anybody telling them what to do. And what happens with religion is it's set up to tell you what to believe and what to do,
Yep.
and it's set up by men. It's a man-made religion or women-made religion, a thing.
Mhm,
It's not spiritual.
mhm.
And so an atheist is just a person who doesn't want anybody telling them what to do, and they know in their heart what's good and what to do. So I respected my father, and I still believe that way mostly, but now I believe that I am God, and I believe that you are God. And I believe every single person on planet Earth is God. And I believe every animal is God. And a dog is God. And that's God spelled backwards. And so I believe every plant and every piece of energy is a piece of God. And all together, we make up the one big God. So God
Mm.
is one because we are one. All of us together make up God. And God
Mhm.
is that loving, caring, sharing, understanding, one with all, non judgmental, um, patient, kind energy
And I
working
love your
together.
teaching, sweetheart, but I'm trying to find out, was there a defining moment that helped you to shift this incredible change in perspective that you just described?
Well, the first thing that happened was I was living with a guy who beat me up and left
Mm.
me for dead.
Oh my God.
And
Woo.
so that, when I woke up in a pool of blood and pee, I said to myself, oh my God, he's going to kill me.
Mm.
And that's when I said, Sandra, you need help. So I went to a psychiatrist and got help. And in the private sessions, he said to me, you need to be in group therapy too. And so I went to his group therapy sessions. And so I was going once a week to him privately and once a week to group sessions. But in the group sessions, we talk about all our problems and everybody talks about them. And I had told them that I was hearing voices. And of course, you're crazy if you're
Yeah.
hearing voices.
Uh-oh.
And so And so one of the ladies said, I heard a lady talking on the radio, and she said she's coming here to Detroit. That's where I was living then. And she's going to be giving a talk about people who hear voices. And she says they're not crazy because they might be hearing their angels talking to them. She says, oh, you would like that. And I said, oh, I'm I'm not interested in angels. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in that stuff. And she begged me to go with her. She said, it's at night and I don't want to go by myself. And please come with me. I went with her just because I'm a good person.
Yes,
And
you
I
are.
heard this lady talking about all this stuff. And she's the one that told me we're all energy. She talked about it in a scientific kind of way. We're
Mhm.
energy and everything is atoms and molecules and everything is energy. It's everything.
Yeah.
And so that makes us all one because we're all part of the same energy.
Mhm.
And she said that, we're souls and physical bodies and we have a life purpose and all the things I've just said. And I had never heard it before because my
Wow.
parents didn't know that and the teachers didn't know that and nobody
Yeah.
knows it.
Wow.
It's a spiritual concept. And so I said, oh my gosh, um, that just blew my mind. And so that was the turning point of when, so she said, and I can teach you how to communicate and have a two-way communication with your spiritual helpers or angels. And so I said, well, I don't believe in that stuff. And I don't think I could do it anyway. So eventually I went because I kept thinking of it and it kept coming up in my mind. And so I knew that there was a pony here somewhere. So I had to, as I went and I made an appointment and I had the reading, the profile done. And she said, now I'm going to show you how to talk to your angels and how to ask questions. And so I said, well, I'm not going to be able to do it. And she said, well, you'll be the first one. First one? She says, oh, everybody can do it. So she showed me how to do it. And the first question she had me ask was to my angels, do you love me? And I asked the question and I got a very strong, positive answer. And it was like blew me away. And I said, I just broke down. I, I couldn't
Oh.
believe it. I cried. I said, how? How can they love me? I don't even believe in them. And my mother doesn't love me and I don't love myself. How? How? how can they love me? And she said, well, that's their job. They made a contract with you and they're going to love you forever. And you're perfect just the way you are and blah, 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 blah. So
Wow.
once I learned how to do this, I went home and started asking questions because I wanted to know a lot of things. And
Mm,
so I asked everything. I asked them when I was going to pass on, if I'd ever lived in a physical body before, all the questions that had been in my mind. And I got answers. So
wow.
then I got excited and I started telling everybody about, you don't believe what I just learned. Oh my. And so I spent 20 years traveling around the world sharing this information with people in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, United States, England, Ireland, Scotland, Puerto Rico.
Wow.
Went to a different city every week. And
Mm.
because if I didn't know it, and I was a smart person, I figure nobody knows it. Let me get out there and share it and tell everybody about it. And so then now I'm doing it through books.
Wow. I just love it. I love it. I never heard that part of your story before, so thank you for your willingness to share because, that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why we go through some of these extremely difficult experiences is because it gives us an opportunity to create a turning point. And obviously, that horrible situation that you suffered, it created a turning point for you. And even though you were a little resistant, the angels kept tapping on your door. They didn't give up on you, did they?
Well, the thing about being resistant is I had to learn how to rebel against my mother and my father and the society because it wasn't supporting me. They weren't supporting me. And so they would tell me something, and right automatically I did the opposite
Mm,
because what I did when I followed what they said, it didn't work. So if I did the opposite, I figured, oh, that might work. So when I my angels started communicating with me, I did the opposite. I I I resisted them, and it took me many years to learn to not rebel because I
mm,
was rebellious for a good reason.
mhm.
But when it comes to rebelling against my spiritual guides, that's not in my best interest. So I had
Definitely.
to readjust and rethink and change myself. And
Wow.
so
Wow.
that's and now I'm hardly ever do anything that they say it's not in my best interest, unless it's eating something I shouldn't be eating.
Oh, we all deal with some of that, my dear. There's no doubt. Well, this has been totally delightful. I love your stories. I love the how you've traveled, the road you've traveled, and now you're out here to help both our youth with education and adults with education. You're teaching people things that should be second nature to all of us, but it just isn't because of the environment that we've all grown up in. So thank you for being you, Sandra. You are an amazing human being, an amazing light in the world, and we're so glad you're part of this group. So I know you
Well,
mentioned all your books are on Amazon, which is a good thing. And but how else? Is there any other way people can get a hold of you if they'd like to chat with you?
they can go to my website. It's
Mm,
sandraadler.com, Sandra, Adler, Adler.com.
perfect.
And there's a place to put their name and email address in, and then I will contact them if they do that. I will reach out to them through their email. And
Awesome.
on my website are all my books, all my spiritual services, all my paintings that are for sale, um, everything about me. It's on my website. And so sandraadler.com. I don't know if you can see it, the book or not, but this is
Ooh,
me
in
and my
my
universe,
universe. We see it.
a,
We see
s-
it. Yes.
a spiritual encyclopedia for children.
I
It's
love
on
it.
Amazon. And if you collect all 12 of them, the whole encyclopedia will be available. And the fourth one is three of them are out there now. The fourth one is coming out April 7th. It'll be dropping on April 7th, and it is called My Balance. The first one's called My Body. The second one's called The Real Me. That's who lives in the body. The third one is called My Home, which is where we came from, the universe or God. And the fourth one is My Balance. It's what happens while we're here on planet Earth, how to balance our thoughts and our feelings and to be successful in what we've come to do.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So yes, go find her at sandraadler.com or on Amazon for her books. So wonderful, wonderful. Well, and we will once we get the videos posted. Then I also would love for you to go back in there and put that contact info under the videos as well. And so tell us, what incredible words of wisdom do you have to leave us with today?
Well, let's see. The first thing would be to realize that you are perfect just the way you are. So quit judging yourself and quit being critical. Quit putting yourself down in your head because you are perfect just the way you are. And learn from every experience that you're having. And the main thing is never give up on your dreams because
Yes.
I tried to get these books published since 2001, and it's taken all these years to do it in spirit's timing. But
Yes.
to be patient, don't ever give up on your goals. Eventually, they will happen because spirit is working on your side.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Those are awesome ways to end today. And we thank all of our change makers for watching and commenting and letting us know what things that could be helpful to you that Miss Sandra is all about. So we will be back in the next couple of days with some more interviews. Until then, we continue to celebrate all of our change makers. Thanks for being here. We'll see you in the next video.
Thank you so much for having me.